plumberparts.co.uk. Honest reviews and advice. Hold tight and welcome to today's plumberparts.co.uk video. I've dug deep today because I've got man flu. I don't know if you can hear, my nose is all bunged up. So I thought, instead of doing like an insane video, I was going to do a simple video on how to solder copper pipe. Now, we have done one video before. In fact, I think it was the first video I ever uploaded. So I thought we'd revisit that and also show you how unrealistic every other plumbing video is on soldering copper pipe. So let's go now. Oh yeah, hold tight. Man flu does exist, by the way, so you know. Right, so firstly what we need is some flux, a brush and a cloth, a torch. Not going to get anywhere without your torch. And some pipe cleaner and some solder. This is lead-free for potable water. So first things first, we're going to get a little fitting out. So the simplest fitting there is a little T-fitting like that. First thing I'm going to show you is how to prepare the pipe. So what we're going to firstly need to do before we continue is clean the pipe. Just give it a little run round with your cleaner. So once that's nice and clean, we can put some flux on it. You get some flux on your brush and you get that nicely over the cleaned area. I recommend try and get some of the end of your fitting, okay, as well. So we can see at the moment there's nothing in there. So try and get some of the end of the fitting. Like that. Then push the piece you've cleaned and the fitting you've got, push them together. Just like that. Now that piece now is ready to solder. I'll do the same and just pop one on the other side and then one at the bottom. Now we get our solder torch, line it up and adjust it, because this is 15mm pipe. Adjust it to like a really nice soft setting like that. Beautiful. Now apply the flame nice and lightly to the fitting. That means our nozzle is about 1 inch away from the fitting. Now once it gets nice and warm, try and heat it up all the way around. And then once you think it's hot enough, just touch, solder, and that'll run nicely into the fitting just like that. Then just pop your flame just underneath as well. Make sure it gets all the way around the fitting. There we go. We'll do exactly the same at this end now. Just heat that fitting up nice and evenly all round until you think you can get the solder to run in the fitting. Right there we go. Beautiful. Right, so we will miss fitting up here for this lower one because these can be quite tricky sometimes. Looks like we've got a little bit of solder running down from earlier on. Just run, every time you touch the solder wire to the actual fitting itself, take the flame away on the lower one and then try and suck it up into the fitting just like that. And that's worked round really well. You don't want to use too much, otherwise what you'll get is a horrible dribble. Sometimes what guys like to do when they're finished doing a fitting is just give it a paint with some flux, especially if it's nice and hot still. That'll clean the fitting down, make it look really nice. A really important thing to remember, and get your wet rag and wipe all the excess flux off, otherwise it will go green and horrible in about a month or two's time. Make sure the pipe is nice and cool, and give that a wipe, just like so. And so there we go, we have a nice, clean, beautiful, non-wasteful solder there, okay, nice little 15mm solder. So that is nice and easy. But what about in the real world? In the real world we don't have vices on the desk. In the real world we'll be doing soldering like this in a place like this. Here, that's where you'll be. You'll be doing this sort of thing, because you can't get around to the other part of the pipe. You'll be in that, okay, I know it's not properly fixed, but you'll be getting this and you'll be going, trying to get it all clean. Oh, absolute mare, generally struggling, wondering why am I doing this? Why did I take this job up? And you'll be getting your flux and you'll only be able to get it round the pipe on one side, you know, because you can't get to the other side because it's up against a wall or something. And then you'll be getting your fit in and you'll think, I've really got to get it in this fit in here, because, you know, if it don't get all the way round, then it ain't gonna solder, brother. The pipes will be close together, you have to pull them out and you have to push them back in and get it back together again. You're gonna go, oh my god, I've got to get my heat mat around here now, but it doesn't want to stay up here or something. Sometimes you'll even go to the point of getting like an old bit of pipe to hold your heat mat in position where you need it. And then we've had to get in a contorted, evil position. We've got under here like that. We thought, oh, we can't get around there, so we're going to bend a little angle so we can get around the back of it. We can't heat it all up, so sometimes we've got to actually put the flame on a little bit more. Sometimes there's even a little bit of water in the pipe still that you weren't able to get rid of, so you've got to heat it up more. Sometimes you've got to pull the pipe down so you can get some of that water out if there's any in there. Oh, and then, you know, only once you've done all of that, can you run your solder in just like so. I'm going to flick that bit off. See ya. So really, are any of those other soldering videos out there on the internet realistic? I will take full responsibility for the one that I produced about 2 or 3 years ago, but I think I've set the record straight. Soldering is easy if it's on a bench in front of you, and by God, if you can do it like that when you're on site and have it out in front of you, then do. But there'll always be a time where you're having to get under a sink, behind a bath, or around even a tenant or a homeowner who won't move. Believe me, I've done it, to solder up a fitting. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. I hope you realise I've got flu and I don't feel very well, but I've come out here today and worked through it so we could all improve our soldering skills. Yeah. Remember to subscribe, Twitter and Facebook. Twitter for the pictures and Facebook for the pictures as well, because we retweet all the things you guys have been doing, especially if it's like plumbing disasters and you've got a little bit of pipe work going on that looks something similar to that. Right then guys, I'll see you all soon in the next video. Hold tight! plumberparts.co.uk. Honest reviews and advice.